Dave from Dave's Glory Shop Works here. Well, we had our fun in St. Albert, so now it's time to get back to the Hyundai. So you can see I started cleaning this set of the cylinder head surface. I've got a little bit of rust to clean out of here, just from the engine sitting for a while. Let me get those cleaned up, and once they're all clean, I will come back and we'll get ready to start installing the cylinder heads. Right on. Alright guys, so we got our head gasket surfaces all wiped down, cleaned up. I used a sanding block on them to make my best chance of it being flat and smooth. Both sides are done. The cylinders had a little bit of rust in them from sitting that were exposed. I put a little bit of synthetic engine oil in there, wiped it around. I blew out all the junk that was in the bottom edges. Everything should be pretty good. I'm not worried too much. The rings will be fine. The little tiny little bit of cylinder rust, it's minimal at best. Like, these cylinders will clean up really nice. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod, and I'm going to spray my head gaskets with some gasket tack, and from there lay them in place and give my heads a final wipe down on the mating surface and lay the heads in place. Then I'm going to oil my head bolts and put the head bolts in. I'll torque them down, just cinch them down, and then I got to look up the torque specs. I've never done one of these engines before, so good times. It'll be good to go. All you need is information, and you got the win. Here goes. Alright guys, heads are torqued down. Quite the fun torque spec. You go to 17 to 20 foot-pounds to set them all. Then you go 58 to 62 degrees. Whoever thought up those numbers, hey, great. And then you do an additional 43 to 47 degrees. So I essentially picked it easy. I went 17 foot-pounds, then I went 60 degrees, and then I went 45 degrees. So those heads are torqued. We're good to go. Now, don't worry about me not using a dial gauge or a digital torque wrench or any of that jazz. I have done enough angle torquing that you pick a reference point. It's that easy. You know your angles, you know the degrees in a circle. Child's play. Anyway, heads are done. I'm going to move on to changing my water pump. I'm going to get everything else cleaned up on there and probably pick this up tomorrow morning probably. So yeah, here we go. We're getting her done. Hey guys, so just wanted to bring you up to speed. I got the water pump changed. That went pretty nice and easy. It's nice when you can take a steel gasket off, give it a quick cleaning, and then you can put on the new gasket. But here's a quick little, that's why we call them a jigsaw puzzle. So, I mean, inside the car, yep, we've got loads of gear. Loads of gear. It's all got to fit under the hood, right? Okay, fine. And then we look at this. See, all those bolts go under the hood too. Hold together the engine, the braces, the mounts, the cams, you name it. So Brad was awesome. He put everything in a, he has some stuff marked in bags, some stuff's laid out like with the cams and the cam journals and everything. I couldn't be happier, it's awesome. But I have to figure out this for things like the rear thermostat housing. I know there are 4 bolts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and an O-ring and 2 gaskets. That's all I got to go on. Might have to Google some pictures. Well, they're nuts actually. They fit on these studs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I finish cleaning the surfaces and swap out that O-ring, lube up the O-ring with some silicone spray or something. And it's on the way we go. But hey, it's part of the fun. Jigsaw puzzles. Hey guys, well, finally got the timing timed up. Only took 3 tries, not bad actually for not having done a timing belt in a couple of years. But here we are. There's our mark on the cover. There's our mark on the front cam. There's our mark on the rear cam, and it lines up to the front, to the cover. And way down inside, I don't know if you'll be able to focus well, but that little white divot down there, and then that line on the timing cover. That's for the crankshaft. So, we got the water pump in. You saw me put the heads on and torque them down. Then I put all the camshafts in. That was a little bit of screwing around. I had to make sure I got all the cam journal saddles in place properly, and there's many because it's twin cam engine. I got the camshaft sensor housing on, water pump thermostat housing and water connection neck between head to head done. I got the exhaust manifolds and cats on. They're just on in place though. I still have to finish bolting them in, put the heat shields on them, that kind of jazz. But now with the timing done, I can finish doing the accessory drive, put the front timing cover on, and then we're down to the short list. Throw the spark plugs in it, intake manifold, upper plenum on, get the vacuum hoses hooked up, plug wires, coil pack. It's really getting down to the short list, so I should have this thing running here. Well, not tonight, but I might have it running tomorrow after work. Cross your fingers. So hey, the old Hyundai Tucson, she's going to breathe life here pretty dang soon. And out she goes, and in with the next project. Alright, we'll keep trucking. Hey guys. Alright, last we left was about 3 or 4 days ago. I went ahead and got a little more, I basically got her done. I was struggling a little bit with between filming and trying to find bolts and nuts and everything. Pretty dry stuff. So anyway, long story short, it's a couple days later and it's together. So I just finished figuring out that I did not have my heater hoses hooked up, which is great because they're right down in there. In there. Anyway, got those all figured out. So everything's together. Alternator was seized. Got a wrench on it, and anyway, got it turning. It's a little bit stiff, but it's either going to be okay or it's not. It's good enough right now to turn the accessory drive without burning anything up. New tensioner on it. Anyway, I got some coolant in it. My makeshift coolant bleeder here. I got to find the top to the funnel, and then I can fill it up the rest of the way. And then we're going to get after it. So here goes. I'm sure the battery's dead, but we'll get to that. For starters. Well, pretty much got everything else set up. I found a nice little surprise from my mechanic friend that I bought the car from. Couldn't get it to crank, and anyway, the starter relay was pulled. Classic Brad. Anyway, got that figured out, and we're going to see what happens. I might not have enough charge in the battery to make it go, but we'll at least see if we can get some life out of her. Hey guys, so right here I'd just like to interject. You'll be able to hear I got it running and it's idling after the oil pumped up all the galleries and all that jazz, not a big deal. But it had a little snapping sound in the engine. It wasn't idling great, I think it was a rough idle. So I kind of stewed on it for a day or two and then pulled the top end off the engine. It sounded like I had a snapping noise in the intake plenum. I thought, man, I hope I don't have a bent valve that I missed or something going on like that. I was pretty thorough when I checked everything. And then I thought, you know what, I better check timing. So I pulled the plenum off, pulled the front covers off, and the rocker covers, and they were good. All my main timing was still lined up, but then I figured out the problem was my front exhaust cam. Somewhere along the lines when I laid it in place, it jumped on the two teeth, so I lined everything back up, put it all back together, crossed my fingers I didn't do any damage, and I didn't. It actually ran pretty good. Needs a mass airflow sensor, but this thing's pretty darn smooth of a runner. I think my kid's going to be pretty happy with it, and she now has the car. I didn't take the time to film it at that point in time, had a lot of stuff on the go, but overall, happy dappy. So this is where we'll leave the video for this thing, call it a success. I'll probably have some tweaking to do on it later on, but overall, we're happy. Everything's a win.
What's the smell?
Well, runs. Got a little shake at idle, but I had a lot of oil in the cylinders when I assembled everything. Gonna do a few coolant checks or fluid checks and check everything out. See how it goes. It runs. It's alive.